Hey, what's up, guys? Straw Hat Crew back at you. Today, we're taking none other than Don Flamingo in the locals. We had a good time. Ended up going 2-1. Was our first night playing this deck. It was a whole lot of fun. Let's just get right into it. For Perona, very important for the card manipulation, being able to stack your deck however you want to hit that ability and keep a lot of cards in your hand. Without this card, it's hard to win a lot of the time, but when you see it, it's very vital and important to the deck strategy. Only 2 blocker law. The reasoning for that, from my friend Mo, he had suggested that you didn't need to run as many copies of this. After I played with it, I can see why he came to that conclusion. You have so many other blockers, but at the end of the game, it only costing 1 is good to summon it off and just protect your field. So I would consider maybe playing more in the future. For Alvida, she is not really good to summon. It's mostly just for the 2k. I did have to summon it in one of my matchups because I mulliganed and I drew so poorly that it was the best thing to play on curve. So you can do that, but I would just use it as a counter. For the guy himself, Don Flamingo, just like Verona, this card is very vital to the strategy. Not only that, it's a blocker, and it just allows you to hit your 7 Warlords of the Sea. Even though majority of the deck is, I believe, like 24 or 26 of the cards are, so you should hit it half of the time, even if you don't use the abilities, but you just want to have the surefire thing and just setting up your turns. Alright, now for one more 3-drop. I played Sentamaru because I do play a pretty heavy line of Pacifista, but the problem with this card, I feel, it just costs too much Don to accomplish what you want to. So it's really not like a 3-drop, it's more of like a 5 or 6-drop, and there's just better cards to play, so I just went with the 1. This could probably be subbed out for something else, though. And it's not a 7 Warlords either, so that's a problem. To continue, 4-drop, 7 Warlords, Gecko Moria. This card is phenomenal. It can get back whatever you might need in the situation, and it can be summoned off of Don, so just more advantage. 4 of the miniature Hawk, Draco Mihawk. He is phenomenal as well. The ability when he attacks to be able to switch out some of your cards is great to get rid of some of the useless cards or set up future plays. And then just having a plus 2k counter just makes this all around a well-rounded card. And then you gotta have, for the Boa, at the time I only had 3. My friend Oliver, he lent me one, so thank you, Oliver, I appreciate that. But yeah, this card, for me, it was pretty useful in the later stages of the game. In the beginning, you can't really justify putting that Don on it sometimes to get the card draw, so it's way more impactful to hit it off of Don, Flamingo, to cheat it into play. But when you get it going, it is pretty good. And then the package that I enjoyed the most was the Kuma with the Pacifist package. So I'm playing 4 full Kuma and a total of 5 different Pacifists. So this one is good for attacking because it's a 6k for 4. And then this one obviously is a blocker and it's good for blocking. So I assume with all the blockers in the deck I would not need as many of this, and I would want to be more aggressive to attack back after they killed this, because this is a blocker as well. While that was true, I would still maybe consider playing a second one of this blocker Pacifist, whether you cut this to 3 or just find space. Because the tempo that this provides when it just summons out another one, even though it has no effect or anything, it's too strong for what the deck wants to do, because the main way that they beat you is by getting your board under control. So if you can constantly keep the pressure on the board through something like Pacifist, you're going to be in control of the game like you want to be, and then continue to use your leader on the next turn. Now, I only opted to play 2 of the Marshal. While it is a good hit off of this, you can just add it back with the Gecko Moria, and I just figured it being a 1k, there is more combo-esque cards that would be more useful, and it only hitting 3 costs or less It's good in the right matchups, like against red. It's not really good against much else besides that, so that's why I only went with 2. Now, something to compensate for the green matchup, you play 3 Virgo. Now, it did not come up, and I would maybe consider cutting it down to 2, just because I didn't need to use it, but this is typically what you want to answer the kid, because it is one of the lower cost cards with a strong power. When they get that unblockable force, it's just like, you have to have this to match the power of it. To continue, we have 1 crocodile. I just wanted to try him. He wasn't actually that useful. I thought he may come up with the ability to give all my events 1 less cost, but again, donning it and then it being such a high cost card, it's like, you don't really want to do that. You don't have a whole bunch of extra don, so you could probably scrap him for Don Flamingo, which you'll see. I didn't actually play him, and there was one matchup where like I really wanted him against Basil Hawk against green, because I actually just played against 3 green decks with this. I was able to go 2 and 1. So to wrap it up, I went with 2 of the big Mihawk. My opinion was, if I'm gonna summon something like Mihawk or Don Flamingo, I'd rather it be Mihawk because it doesn't put the card back in their hand. But I soon found that, again, the 9 cost is just like a little bit too steep for him. So he was useful, except when I mulliganed into 2 of them, and it was just like, but it is a really good card for what it is, if you can get it off, because it's still a threat, kind of like a purple deck that it has. You still have to deal with that afterwards. So that is all of my character cards. Now to get into the events. Of course, we love Mellow. This card is just phenomenal. As soon as you're trying to get you down on advantage, you use this stability advantage back up. Protect your characters, protect your leader. Nothing else to be said. This card is great. And then I wanted to try, because I haven't played the deck before, for more consistency, Desert Espada, and to help with the Don Flamingo's ability as well a bit. These could be cut though. I could see why some players suggested me to cut this. Like, it's not the most useful card, but essentially it's like a 2k for 1. But again, you don't always have extra Don. So yeah, thank you guys. I hope you had fun at all your treasure cups this weekend. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Comment, rate, subscribe, like. Alright, have a good day guys. Peace.